Good morning. This is McKay. I'm an entrepreneur on my journey to bounce back. I've been up against it in my business for a while here, and I got some good things happening. I've got all the resources and the platform I need to really rebound my business and taking you along this journey. So if you're a business owner, you've been gone through some struggles. I'm hoping you'll follow what I'm up to. Check out the last few videos I've put together. Kind of lays down a little bit more in the background of what we're going to talk about today. Namely, today I'm going to review, as I promised in a prior video, that I'm going to go do a review of some time management practices I've been undertaking the last week, and I want to explain to you a little bit more about what's happened there. And just before we do that, let me show you a cool little thing. I had some fun times here. Though this is LinkedIn stats. So I've kind of gone a little bit viral here in the last week here. So it's been a bit distracting from. I'm not going to lie to you. I mean my history here. This is the last 90 days. 4,500 impressions isn't a lot, but I mean for me it's obviously you can see the trend is pretty cool there. Looking at a year timeline, you can see it's kind of some growth along the whole year, and then the last week here, just been insane mental. It's going mental. All right, so let's talk time tracking here. So, coach I have, he gave me a template to use some, time tracking. It's a spreadsheet. It's very basic. You can do it yourself in your own. I'll show you what the results were. So, track your activities. What are you up to? Is it money making or not? The objective is his rule of thumb is 50% or more of your time should be money making activity. So, am I doing that? Am I hitting that? And what's going on? So, I started it off last week. It was Wednesday last week, and today is Wednesday, so you're going to see a little bit of stuff here. So Wednesday last week, so I did it. I went through and I itemized all the things I was working on, and you see this big, long, laundry list of different things. And so what that kind of tells me is a couple things. I was task switching so much. Little things, and it's just little 10 minutes here, 15 minutes there, like little piddly things. I was flipping back and forth. I would flip, doing a lot of different change. And it's disruptive, and I was unfocused, and I realized the number of times I had come back to update the spreadsheet. I'm like, oh, what did I even just do for 15, 20 minutes? I lost track. I therefore called it chum. I'm just chumming, just doing things to pretendy time work, and that's what I found up I was doing quite a bit. So on the last Wednesday I was chumming. I wrote down chum a few times, but I did get some stuff done. So I mean I am productive. And then so down here is today. So I'm working on planning a day. I should add another item saying record a video. But and then Thursday last week. So I'm itemizing a bunch of these recording videos as money making things. So I was going through the whole thing. So the background is I said I'm up against it. I'm not lying. I mean, cash has been like zero cash, and I mean I'm not saying like, oh, I don't have enough to have a latte at the Starbucks. I mean zero. Absolutely, my bank is zero. So a bunch of my services were canceled, and particularly, so my coach asked me to go through all my warm contacts, people who paid me in the past, go through some of the cold contacts in your list, go after those guys. Problem is, no bueno, no cashola. I got booted out of my CRM for non-payment, so I had no list. So I had to go and get, I got my day started in my CRM last Wednesday, but I got the boot. Got the boot, friends. That was not fun. So back to zero. What do I do now? I still have an objective to meet, so I had to figure it out. So I rolled with it on Thursday. Recorded some more videos. I'm getting into it, and so one of the things that was a problem is my CRM hosted my calendar page. So I'm like, okay, well, I can't go and have a lot of people trying to book a time with me if there's nowhere for them to book a time with me. And I didn't want to get into manual back and forth email stuff because that's just a mind-numbing task. So I set up a free Calendly account. So I've got a demo of that, and I set it all up, configured it all up, and now it's running with. I have a sushiwithtim.com. People can go there, and it'll go to a calendar, and it'll work for now. Okay, so that's good. So, and then I had some client meetings, and so there we go. So I got through the day a little bit better about thinking in advance. What do I need to do today? Getting a little more plan. So I've started getting into the practice of creating a section on the bottom. Here's my job jar for the day. Here's the 10 things I want to do, and then start pulling them out and putting them to the top and working them as I go work through my day. So a little bit better day in that regards. Bad day in the sense that I had to start kind of from scratch trying to figure out who am I going to talk to. So LinkedIn is going to be the main repository, the main source of all that. Okay, so coming into Friday last week, it was a good day. We've been pushing a client for some data so we can do working on projects. So we had a lot of wasted time waiting. Finally, we had another call with them and some of their vendors, and we had some good successes there. And what that meant for us in that case was two of the vendors that we were trying to work with were, here's exactly the stuff you want. The third call we had was we wanted to try to get some information. Didn't go, so we're still fussing with that. But that's okay. And then this is, again, I got a little bit distracted because it's Friday and I was going viral. I don't know. Viral for me. But anyway. But I kind of, the afternoon, I was kind of burnt out, I was tired. And so I let him leave it down. Sitting at desk for the sake of sitting at desk. I'm like, okay, I gotta just stop working. Get away from here. I was tired. I took a nap. I was like, okay, let's do a quick break. Checked some, information. I read some articles. Then I came back to the desk. I'm like, all right, I should be ready to go now. I'm refreshed. No, it was a waste of time. Anyways, come Monday. So at my desk at 6, and then I, got a little more ready to go. And so I'm working through, I've got different businesses I'm trying to do different marketing motions. So one, I've got a really clear objective, ICP, everything is kind of set there. That one's good. And then for Hook 1, 2, 3, I was struggling with messaging and struggling with a lot of these things. And who's my, my get email 1, 2, 3 service, for example, that one's become really easy. I got really crispy on who am I going to talk to on that. So basically I'm going to go find LinkedIn posts where somebody's post something and it's got lots of activity around a competitor's product. And I'm going to go find all those people, add those guys to a list because they're showing interest in a competing product, so I'm going to talk to them. Okay, so that's good. I want to find a similar thing like that for Hook 1, 2, 3, so I wanted to do some brainstorming, figure that out. Who are these people? What are their pain points? And then more importantly, what are the signals that they're emitting on LinkedIn? And I can use as a way to open the door, have a conversation at the right time with these people who are interested in talking about that thing. So I thought, okay, well, are there ways for, I did some experimentation to find out if there's ways to do automation of some searches. So I thought I could use it as a signal hiring practices. So if there's job postings, so I got some limited results on that. It's not, in my opinion, at this point, I have to spend a lot more time to analyze. I did some scraping on Indeed, Monster, and a couple other job boards. It was a pain. It wasn't good. They've obviously been scraped a billion times until they got defenses up. So I'll have to figure out a different way on that. But anyways, let's see here. So I also got this clue about a past client. I did a bunch of work for them. I thought maybe there's something I can consider there. So I went through and found a bunch of my old work stuff I had done there, and that gave me a lot of really good ideas. And it's interesting because as I was typing that, I actually got a message back in response to an outreach I had done to my warm list last week. Lady I used to work with at that same company were messaging me as I was just looking at it. So the information was super fresh. It was kind of fun how that happened. And then so then I was able to go through and finalize in the evening. I got that list completed. I got 250 names of people for my Get Email 1, 2, 3 service. So that was great. My ICP is clear on alleviated risk. I got a good clear idea on that, who I'm going to go for and how to do that. And I'm going to segment it a little bit. I discovered I'm going to segment it a little bit differently on the day after Tuesday. I figured that out. But coming into Tuesday, yesterday, started the day off, and I thought, I don't know why I haven't created a LinkedIn page for Get Email 1, 2, 3. And so I did that, and I wanted to get a little more planning focused around what is my day like, what am I going to do here, and so I got a bunch of stuff kind of written, some contents. I did a lot of like thinking through, like for Hook 123, it's like boiling the ocean. Like I can solve any problem for any person. That is not a good way to go and sell something, right? So I'm trying to go really specific about specific pain points. And what I kind of come to the conclusion of by the end of the day was similar to what a couple other people were saying on LinkedIn. I'm going to go and I'm just going to put in, I'm going to hyperbolize, or I'm just going to theorize. Here are maybe the 10 or 20 different ways. So I'll presuppose or contrive some ways that an AI programming can help a company, leveraging things I've done in the past as examples, and how I would do it differently today. Kind of maybe that's the angle, right? So then I'll use those as stories on Hook 123's LinkedIn page, and then the top 3 or 4 that get traction, those are the ones I'll double in on, and I'll focus on those ones going forward, right? So I'll use that as a kind of a canary in the coal mine, so to speak, get them going, and that will go. So, anyways, coming back to time tracking. All right, tracking time was a bit of a dodgy thing at the beginning. I'm now in the more of a rhythm. I'm thinking about this. I got this spreadsheet open all day long, so it's become less of it's muscle memory now, right? So that's good. Like again, I'm still chumming a little bit because I find in the afternoons, if I don't have a big task to accomplish, I get a little bit sleepy. I'm unfocused. I'm distracted easily. So I'm not sure if it's because I'm tired or if it's because, or exactly what. But I think I need to focus more on those little piddly tasks first thing. So I need to reorder my activities. So I'm getting a little bit zeroed in on optimizing on my time management there. I wrote a note here for myself. Ideas going all. Oh yeah. So this is the other thing too. Like I have these ideas flipping through my mind all the day long. So I finally created a tab on this time tracker, or there was a blank tab there for capturing thoughts. So I've gone through and I started organizing some new thoughts. Because I mean, even just this morning, I sat down on the desk and I thought, this is a really good idea. So instead of like going crazy, I just wrote it on one sheet piece of paper, and then I have a folder just for future ideas that I just document. I throw it in there, out of sight, out of mind. I can go back into that tickle trunk and pull it out later if I want, but at least, I just sat down and I wrote that out, and this is what I wrote idea for blah blah blah. 12 minutes or 22 minutes, 28 minutes, and I just got it out, thought it through, and no more, right? And I've time capped it. It's end of story there. So that's good. But I need to be a little bit less fluttery. I'm all throughout the day. I'll be working on one thing and then I'll think about something else. And this is where the doom scrolling on LinkedIn is really bad. I know somebody was telling me, it just come to mind, they have a Chrome plugin that suppresses the timeline in Chrome or in LinkedIn. That might be a good idea because it's really distracting, and I see so much stuff and I just want to comment. I'm like, oh, this is a good idea. Oh yeah. Anywho, that's what I know about that. I need to optimize my time, get a little bit less distracted. And then it occurred to me yesterday that, well, I guess Monday and yesterday, that really when I'm working through these type of tasks, I've been focusing, especially my outreach. I've been focusing so much on how can Tim talk to these people, what can I say, what are the things I should be doing. So it kind of I started thinking about it in 2 levels. One is, at the end of the day, I can't be doing this myself all the time. I need to at some point scale up and have staff. Like I need to have a team. So I need to work on what's the SOP. So in the back of my mind, I'm starting to think a little bit more, how am I going to industrialize this and make this a repeatable process that someone else can follow. So I'm working that out in as I'm taking manual steps. Then I can have someone help do those things, though that I'm not doing it all the time. And then I can, if there's 2 of us pushing, then the load is later. So that's part of it. The second part of it was, it's really this whole thing about if you're going to scale, yes, you need people, yes, you need process, but And I just lost my thought on that one. I'll come back to it. So one of the things I haven't been doing really well here on this time tracker is I should be categorizing and summarizing kind of by, let's say by project, by revenue generating activity. Where am I spending the efforts? And then what I'm doing with that is making sure that I am above the 50% of my time is in revenue making proper time. But if I'm not, I need to adjust. So that's a good thing I've learned here. And then I feel some of my cold outreach. So yeah, this ties into the thought I had lost. So what I've kind of been observing is it's a separation of brands, right? It's this concept of, so I've got Hook 123 marketing as a solutions. So bespoke solutions for marketing, sales, and operational efficiency. That's kind of the tools and techniques in order to get those things effective. So it's an implementer, doer. My alleviate risk. It's a strategy on growing through M&A, and then get email 123 is a tool, and I've got another tool, and so these different things have their own personas, their own thing they're trying to do, and how do I use my single LinkedIn profile to hone that message so that it's not scattershot and people think it's all confusing. So that's why what I'm trying to do now is I'm going to move content into those pages, and I'll share it to my LinkedIn profile, because I think that'll be a better way of highlighting that's this brand, and then it'll be easier, I think, for others to understand what is Tim actually up to, instead of just a mishmash of I'm just confused. I can't figure out what is this guy up to and how can I use him and all that stuff. Is that I'm laying down too much confusion, and that's not going to be a good thing down the line. So where I'm going to go with that is, then it makes it so that these different things can be a little, they can go viral on their own, right? So they can have their own life, and then that also ties into I can have teams. Okay, let's say Hook 123 is going and growing. I can allocate a person to that and say focus on that. Just your job is only that, and they're not as distracted with the other stuff, and I can focus on the other stuff. Get them to that point where I can put human intelligence behind it and get some AI going and all that stuff that can really accelerate the overall ecosystem. Then I think those are the main topics. I mean, this is getting pretty long here, but that's kind of the main things I wanted to discuss today. That I've been working on this for a while now, and this week, and I've learned a lot. Got more to go. Got to get more optimized. Again, figure out more efficient use of my day. I do find that afternoons I'm getting a little bit more fatigued, or I'm calling it brained out. It's not like a brain fog per se, but it's definitely I'm far less efficient unless I got a big task. That's maybe a good time to go do client work, if you will, or the big build things, or whatnot. So it's something for me to think about. I'll kind of be assessing that aspect as I go along. So, that's a lot of words. Thank you for watching. If you got anywhere near close to this, I that would be great if you could write a comment below and let me know what your thoughts are and how you're doing in your business, what you're doing differently, approaches you're taking. I'm willing to learn and hear from you too. So this is Tim signing off until next time. Cheers.